Hi guys, I'm coming out with a video because I get a question often with regards to real estate investing, and it's specifically with regards to leads. Just because somebody has a house for sale doesn't mean that they are actually a quality prospect. You really need to pre-screen out your sellers so that you're not wasting your time. You can speak to people all day, and you need to understand that you're only going to get a small percentage of the deals of people that you can work with. You might have a slightly larger percentage that you're going to follow up on, but there really needs to be a need to sell. You really need to find out why they're selling. And it doesn't matter whether you're getting calls inbound, whether it's from your direct marketing, or whether you're calling outbound on for sale by owner leads, or actually targeting homes for rent in your target area. But you need to find out why they're selling. Because if you don't know, it could be a situation where they don't need to sell. They can take it off the market, but you don't want to sit there and engage with those people for any, length of time that's going to waste your time and cause you to get unmotivated or lose your enthusiasm for the business. So for new people, and even older ones who may have, forgotten this, you need to go through a formal pre-screening process of asking several questions about the house and finding out why they are selling. There needs to be a need. If you don't know what that need is, then how are you going to structure a deal to meet that need? Because you cannot make a business out of real estate investing by paying full retail price cash for a house. If you know of a way of making money that way, please let me know. You could hold on to a property for a long-term rental. But my primary focus in teaching this and doing this as a business is to meet today's cash flow needs, not waiting on properties to increase in value over the long term. My thing is to get you to the point where you can pay your bills next month by doing this business. Actually, you should be making well above that. There's absolutely no reason, if you're in this business, even if you're doing it part-time, half-heartedly, that you shouldn't be making $10,000 to $15,000 a month. If you're deliberate and if you're consciously doing this on a day in and day out basis, you should be making well into five figures. But you need to pre-screen them. Now, on the screen right now, I have a seller script that, I find that it's quite useful. And if you're familiar with it, all the better. And if you need it, I can send it to you. But if you notice in this middle section, there's a question. All right, so what's your situation and how can we help you? This is a straightforward question. Now this is primarily on inbound calls, obviously. You'd ask them, hey, I saw your house for sale. You obviously responded to one of our marketing pieces. How can we help you out? Let them tell you their story. When they tell you their story, you can get bits and pieces of information on how to address their need. And then you can find out whether it's even worth your time or not. They'll let you know if you ask them for a cash price. Hey, if I was to offer you all cash and take care of all your closing costs, what's the least you'd be willing to accept for cash? And immediately follow up with, is that the best you can do on that? If they say, yeah, that's the best I can do, and it doesn't fall within your price range for a cash sale, then you need to go down to look at a different option as far as purchasing the property. Say, okay, well, let me ask you this question. If I can meet your asking price, would you consider selling it to me on terms? If they say yes, then obviously you can go forward with a way of meeting their needs where you're making monthly installments and at some point in the future cashing them out. But you have to ask those questions first. So you need to find out exactly what they need, whether they're motivated or not. You should think of yourself as a real estate problem solver. If you think about it in those terms, I think that'll make it easier as far as a mindset is concerned. If you think about it, hey, this is a real estate problem that I can solve, you can figure out and structure deals that are win-win. If you just think about the numbers and don't factor in the seller situation, then it's going to be more challenging. But I definitely recommend using a script each and every time you speak with a seller, unless you just have this so down pat that you can just ask the questions just off the top of your head. I also recommend, if you can't make the calls or receive the calls, to get somebody to do it for you. Now, some of you may say, well, I don't have the money to do that. You can hire people to do this on a weekly basis or on a bi-weekly basis. And once you have quality leads coming in, it should be no problem to go ahead and sell it. Once you buy and sell the property, obviously that allows you to go ahead and pay these people what you owe for doing their part. So try to look for options to be successful. Look for ways of working around any roadblocks you may be encountering, because I know time is a big factor. The way things are going now, you really can't operate as a one-person operation. You really have to have a team working with you. So if you can start off making the calls or receiving the calls, but you definitely want to transition into having someone do that for you. So that's just a lesson for today. Always use a script. Always pre-screen your sellers and find out why they are selling. Number one focus each and every day when you're doing this business. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment below. If you would like a copy of a script, go ahead and message me as well. Leave a comment below. I do have an upcoming training that's just a few days away. If you would like to learn how to do subject to deals, I'll leave the link below the video. Until then, you have a great day.